2024 has come to an end, and in Canadian politics, we have a very interesting and eventful 2025 ahead of us. Between foreign affairs, a federal election within Canada, and other interesting upcoming events, the new year is sure to bring some very interesting headlines. So let's jump right into it. Right away in the new year, we will have to follow Trudeau's place within the Liberal Party. Does he remain as the party's leader right until the election, or is he forced out? Because if he does resign, there will be a very, very interesting process to follow, and the party will have to decide whether to put an interim prime minister in place or change the Liberal Party constitution to allow a full Liberal leadership race. Because currently, the Liberal Party rules state that the leadership race must last at least 90 days, and that is time the Liberal Party just doesn't have in this minority government. So will Trudeau be prime minister until the election? Will he announce his resignation right away in the new year? Will he be prime minister when I upload this video? We will see. 2025 is going to be an election year in Canada. There are a lot of things to follow with this upcoming event. First of all, we will have to watch when the election takes place. The Conservative Party seems to be pushing for an election as soon as possible. The Bloc has been voting with them for an election for a while now, and the NDP, or at least most of the NDP, just announced that they will be backing a no-confidence vote, and even offering to put forward their own motion. The Conservatives are trying to do a trick through the committees to make an election happen even sooner. Just remember that according to law, Canadian election campaigns must last between 36 and 50 days and take place on a Monday. So if you see that the government has fallen, you can expect an election within 36 and 50 days from after the Prime Minister meets with the Governor General to officially dissolve Parliament after a vote of no confidence. Given how the House of Commons works, and that there are certain days when the opposition gets to control the agenda, creatively named Opposition Days, the House will likely vote on a confidence motion by mid to late February. And assuming the NDP and Bloc both keep their word in supporting Avance, the government finally falls. But Trudeau could also prorogue Parliament, which is a fancy term for ending the session of Parliament and shutting down all parliamentary proceedings for a period of time. However, this could only last until March 31st at the latest, because the government needs to either pass or fail a bill to fund the government by that date. Otherwise, Canadians get to enjoy something called a government shutdown. But at the end of this prorogation is a throne speech, which includes a confidence vote. In the election, we will get to see exactly what we have been waiting for. If the polls are to be believed, Pierre Poilievre is seemingly on a very stable trajectory towards the prime ministership, and the real question becomes whether the Liberals will even get to form official opposition or not. I won't dabble too much in election talk, because you can expect many more videos about this topic before the big day, whenever it is. Canada is hosting the G7 summit this year at Kananaskis in Alberta's Rocky Mountains. In case you don't know, the G7, or Group of Seven, is a group of countries which are supposed to be the most powerful representative democratic governments in the world. The G7 consists of Canada, America, the UK, Italy, Japan, France, Germany, and the EU also holds a special status among the group. It also included Russia until they invaded Crimea in 2014. At this 3-day meeting in June, the leaders of all of these countries will be in Canada to discuss the most pressing issues facing the world and talk amongst each other about the issues facing their respective nations. Canada hosting this summit allows us to set the agenda and make sure a lot of things that we want talked about are talked about. And there's also a strong chance that we could have a new prime minister at this meeting, in which case the meeting could also serve as an introduction for a new prime minister after the election. On January 20th, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. Donald Trump and Trudeau already have a very interesting relationship given Trump's first term, and this term will seemingly be even higher stakes, with Trump promising to impose tariffs on Canada and maybe joking about wanting to annex us. We will have to see whether he follows through on his tariff threat, and if so, just how much this will hurt our economy. Trump's presidency will also impact our election in Canada most likely, as the media, the leaders, and the voters will probably be thinking about who they trust most to deal with Trump when they cast their ballots. And if Pierre does in fact become prime minister, we will have to see if anything major does change in the dynamic between our two countries. Canada has one provincial election scheduled for sure this year, and it is in Newfoundland and Labrador. Incumbent Premier Andrew Furey of the Newfoundland and Labrador Liberal Party will be seeking a second full term as Premier. This is a tough election to make a call about or establish a frontrunner this far out, as there have been very mixed signals about who might be more popular, the Liberals or the Progressive Conservatives. The Yukon Territory will also be going to the polls, with Liberal Premier Ron Pillay seeking to be elected to a full term of his own as Premier. Their main opposition will be the more right-wing Yukon Party. In an election so small-scale as the Yukon, it is also tough to make a projection this far out. Potentially more interesting, and what will affect more of you, is the fact that Ontario could very well be headed for an election. Doug Ford is sending a lot of signs that he is very likely considering calling a snap election in this province, either to have an election before the federal election or to have an election during the Poilievre honeymoon period. As of now, it looks like Ford is in a decent position to win another majority government, with his party's popularity seemingly at a decent place, and the anti-progressive Conservative vote being very well split between the Liberal and NDP parties. So we will have to see when this election takes place and whether Ford can maintain his majority or not. But what do you think? Did I miss anything major? Let me know in the comments. But apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, as that helps me out a lot. But apart from that, have a good rest of your day, and Happy New Year.